This is the story of a map, not just any map, a 5,000-year-old stone tablet that allegedly shows the detailed coastlines of North and South America carved by Egyptian hands millennia before Columbus ever dreamed of sailing west. But here's what makes this discovery truly terrifying. The ancient Egyptians who created it buried it on purpose. They wanted it forgotten. They wanted it hidden. And after you hear this story, you'll understand why. January 2024, the sacred necropolis of Sakara, Egypt's most important archaeological site, holds its breath as an international team of researchers makes a discovery that will haunt them forever. Dr. Heinrich Miller, the German archaeologist leading the excavation, would later describe this moment as the day archaeology died and was reborn. His team had been searching for administrative buildings, storage facilities, routine work that had been going on for months, but what they found instead was a tomb. Not just any tomb, a perfectly preserved chamber sealed for over 5,000 years, its entrance hidden beneath centuries of wind, bee-blown sand, and forgotten time. The air inside was thick, recalls Dr. Sarah Chin, the team's imaging specialist. Ancient, untouched. When our lights first illuminated the chamber walls, we saw hieroglyphs unlike anything in the textbooks. No pharaohs, no gods, just geometric patterns, sky symbols, water symbols, as if someone was trying to map the heavens themselves. And there, against the far wall, waiting in the darkness like a patient guardian of secrets, stood a towering slab of black stone, 2 meters tall, over a meter wide, its surface covered in intricate carvings that would soon turn the archaeological world upside down. The team's first assumption was simple. This was Egyptian limestone or sandstone carved with religious symbols or territorial maps of the Nile Delta. They were wrong, catastrophically wrong. Petrographic analysis revealed the impossible truth. This wasn't Egyptian stone at all. It was Andic basalt, a volcanic rock with a mineral fingerprint that matched only one place on Earth, the high Andes of South America, specifically the rugged mountains surrounding modern-day Peru. Think about that for a moment. A massive stone slab weighing hundreds of pounds somehow traveled from the peaks of the Andes across thousands of miles of ocean to end up in an ancient Egyptian tomb in 3100 BCE, nearly 5,000 years before Columbus. Dr. Maria Rodriguez, a geological expert who analyzed the samples, puts it bluntly, "This is like finding a piece of the moon in King Tut's tomb. It simply shouldn't exist. The geological signature is unmistakable. This rock was born in the Andes. But how did it get to Egypt, and why?" When the team brought in satellite imaging experts to analyze the stone's carvings, they expected to find abstract religious symbols or stylized representations of the Nile River. Instead, they uncovered something that made grown archaeologists weep. The carved lines weren't abstract at all. They were geospatially precise topographic maps of North and South America. The Florida Peninsula carved with mathematical accuracy, the Yucatan Peninsula perfectly positioned at the Gulf of Mexico's entrance, the Andes mountain range running like a jagged spine down the continent's western edge, the Amazon basin carved as a broad depression in the stone center. Dr. James Patterson, a seagrapher who analyzed the overlay data, still struggles to explain what he saw. The precision is beyond coincidence, beyond artistic license. This is satellite-level accuracy rendered in stone 5,000 years ago. Whoever created this map had actually been there. They had seen these coastlines. They had mapped these continents. But the most chilling discovery was yet to come. To understand the true horror of this discovery, we must travel back to the 1990s, when forensic toxicologist Dr. Svetlana Balabanova made a discovery that the academic world desperately wanted to ignore. She had analyzed hair and tissue samples from Egyptian mummies over 3,000 years old. The results were impossible to explain. Traces of cocaine and nicotine, substances that could only come from plants native to the Americas. Plants that, according to everything we knew about history, had never crossed the Atlantic. They called it contamination. Dr. Bala Bonova would later recall laboratory error, impossible results. But when multiple independent laboratories confirmed the same findings, the silence became deafening. The academic world simply stopped talking about it until now, because this stone map doesn't just suggest ancient contact between Egypt and the Americas. It proves it. The cocaine and nicotine weren't contamination. They were evidence of trade, of voyages, of knowledge that was deliberately buried. As the team employed advanced imaging techniques to uncover the stone's hidden inscriptions, they discovered words that would haunt them forever. Faint hieroglyphs, barely visible to the naked eye, told a story that defied comprehension. We saw the twin lands, the sun never sets, but shadows walk there. Twin lands, two continents, a sun that never sets. Perhaps the endless summer days of the Arctic or the blazing deserts of the American Southwest. But shadows walk there, something dark, something dangerous, something that made these ancient explorers want to forget what they had seen. Dr. Elena Vasquez, a specialist in Proto-Egyptian scripts, explains the chilling implications. This isn't celebratory language. This isn't triumph. This is a warning. They found something in those lands, something that frightened them so deeply they buried the evidence and tried to erase it from history. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this discovery isn't what was found. It's what happened after it was found. No major museum has displayed the Sakara map. The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities maintains complete official silence. Scholars who initially discussed the discovery have grown reluctant to speak publicly. Research papers have been withdrawn. Evidence has been sealed away. One researcher, speaking on condition of anonymity, revealed the pressure being applied. We were told this discovery was too sensitive for public consumption, that it would destabilize established historical narratives. But destabilize them how? By proving that ancient humans were more capable than we thought, by showing that our textbooks are wrong. The answer, it seems, runs deeper than academic embarrassment. As if the Sakara map wasn't enough, a re-examination of an obelisk in Luxor, previously dismissed as purely ceremonial, revealed corroborating evidence that sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. The hieroglyphs speak of a vessel of the West, a ship journeying beyond the Great Water. They describe encountering a dark presence in the windless sea and finding a land rich in gold, death, and silence. Gold, death, and silence. Three words that paint a picture of ancient explorers finding something in the Americas that filled them with such dread they chose to bury the knowledge rather than celebrate it. Dr. Michael Thompson, who analyzed the obelisk inscriptions, believes the evidence is clear. They didn't just reach the Americas. They found something there that changed them, something that made them want to forget. The silence wasn't accidental. It was intentional. They were protecting future generations from knowledge too dangerous to preserve. But the evidence doesn't stop with maps and inscriptions. The architectural parallels between Egyptian and Mesoamerican civilizations have puzzled scholars for decades. Pyramids aligned to the same stars, gods with similar attributes. Calendar, systems that mirror each other with uncanny precision. Both cultures revered Orion's belt. Both built pyramids aligned to cardinal directions. Both developed complex hieroglyphic writing systems. Both created 365-day solar calendars. The similarities are too numerous, too specific, to be coincidental. Dr. Amanda Foster, a comparative archaeologist, explains the implications. We've always explained these parallels as convergent evolution, separate cultures, independently developing similar solutions. But what if that's wrong? What if these similarities exist because there was direct contact, direct knowledge, transfer thousands of years before we thought possible? The question becomes, if this contact occurred, why was it forgotten? Why was it buried? What did they find that was so terrible it had to be erased from history? Despite official silence, word of the discovery has begun to spread. Leaked photographs circulate on social media. Independent researchers share analysis. The public is beginning to ask the questions that academics won't. The implications are staggering. If ancient Egyptians could cross the Atlantic 5,000 years ago, what else might they have achieved? What other chapters of human history have been deliberately suppressed? Online communities have formed around the discovery. Researchers, historians, and curious citizens are demanding answers. They're asking why this evidence remains hidden, why the silence, why the secrecy. Dr. Richardson, an independent historian, captures the public mood. This isn't just about archaeology anymore. This is about truth, about whether we have the right to know our own history, even if it challenges everything we thought we knew about human civilization. So, what was the dark secret that made ancient Egyptians bury this knowledge? Why did they hide evidence of their greatest achievement, crossing the Atlantic and mapping the Americas? The answer may lie in those chilling words carved into the stone: Shadows walk there. Perhaps they encountered something in the Americas that defied their understanding. Perhaps they found evidence of other civilizations, other peoples, other truths that challenged their worldview so fundamentally that acknowledgement would have destroyed their entire society. Or perhaps the secret is simpler and more terrifying. They found the Americas already inhabited by advanced civilizations. They found evidence that they weren't the first to make this journey. They found proof that human history was far older, far more complex, far more interconnected than their religion and culture could accommodate. And so they buried it. They hid the maps. They sealed the chambers. They chose ignorance over truth, comfort over knowledge, because some secrets are too dangerous to survive. Today, as you watch this video, that stone map remains locked away. The evidence continues to be suppressed. The questions continue to be ignored. But the truth has a way of surfacing. Like ancient artifacts emerging from desert sands, knowledge cannot be buried forever. The cocaine mummies, the Sakara map, the Luxor obelisk, the architectural parallels, the geological impossibility of Andean stone in Egyptian tombs. Each piece of evidence stands alone is remarkable. Together, they form a picture that demands attention, a picture that suggests our ancestors were more capable, more adventurous, more connected than we've ever imagined. The question isn't whether ancient Egyptians reached the Americas 5,000 years ago. The evidence strongly suggests they did. The question is, what did they find there that was so terrible, so world-shattering, that they chose to bury it rather than celebrate it? And perhaps, more importantly, are we ready to handle the truth they were too afraid to preserve? The forbidden map remains hidden. The questions remain unanswered. But the truth is waiting to be discovered. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below.